Hello and welcome. My name is Ohi Alegbe. You're welcome to The Candidate. It's a program we've designed to take on candidates vying for various positions in the 2027 general elections, whether as presidential candidates, as governorship candidates, as members of the state houses of assembly, members of the House of Representatives, or the Senate of the Federal Republic. Today, we're having as our guest a very distinguished Nigerian, an architect with over 3 decades experience in architectural practice. He's also an infrastructure policy strategist and an acoustic design specialist. He's been involved in politics. He's going to bring to bear on the political landscape of Nigeria's experience as a professional architect and one who has been committed to the development of the human personality in Nigeria. We're proud to welcome on to the program Dr. Peter Adaole AGADA of the Young Progressives Party, YPP. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Ohi. I'm glad to be here with you today.
Thank you for being a part of this. Why do you want to be president of Nigeria?
Very interesting question. I want to be president because I believe loaded inside of me over the last 20 years are byproducts of experiences that I've had engaging with persons in 2 addresses. One address on the left here is government and governance, solution templates upon solution templates, thematic areas upon thematic areas. Solutions have been provided leading to policies which have been supplied over the years to those who are in government and also those who intend to become government. We've been part and parcel of that partnership, supplying them answers as to what they need to do to make this nation that great nation that it ought to be. On one hand, 20 good years of experience. The second address is in my private sector practice of architecture. I've been involved in developing Nigeria's housing sector and infrastructure sector, and also the Nigerian military security grade infrastructure on one hand. You know, over the last 30 years in doing that, I've also put together solutions. So I'm a solutions person, and not just solutions on paper, but solutions that have been tested and tried. They seem to be working, but on the political side, one little challenge or the other stalls the full implementation. And that is why I've come out today to try and see if maybe the initiator, maybe the dreamer, is better to drive the process. And that's why I'm out here today.
What is the vision of this?
The vision is to take this great nation with all its great people, with all its great endowment, put them together in a pot of soup and cook something up that is going to enable Nigeria to redistribute first of all, harness the best of the land, which is currently not being done properly, not being done at all, and then redistribute the great resources and wealth this country has so that we can end these issues of inequalities and bigotry and all of these things that we see causing the nation to go from peace that we know ourselves to be like to the level of unrest and deprivation that we see today. And I know I can do it.
What do you identify as the major problem? You related with those in government. You've helped them to drive policy. You've helped them to dream up policy,
yes,
and also helped them to implement. But you've been in the private sector. You've not really been at the helm of affairs.
Yes.
You know, directing affairs, being in charge. In your experience, both ways, private sector, public sector, what do you consider to be the major challenge of Nigeria? I know Achebe said, well, it's squarely and fairly the problem of leadership.
Yes, it is the problem of leadership, beginning first with the problem of ideology. It gets me confused sometimes when I see people that hundreds and millions and thousands of lives have been handed over to you to stare, and you do not have a founding philosophy buried deep inside of you as to how you define human life. I don't understand where that consciousness comes from, that you can lead lives without having an ideology on what living life should be like. Let me give you one simple ideology, for example. As Africans that we are, you don't even need to go to any school of philosophy to be taught that you exist because I exist, because we collectively exist. The community kind of life. I grew up in a slightly controlled community that was not corrupted. I'm not a very old person. I don't want to go back to the villages or the days in the villages where I come from, when you harvest crops and you need to dry them, groundnut, for example, all you need to do is turn it upside down. Turn the leaves down and then the seeds up. The rains will wash it. They wash off the sand from it. And then the suns will dry the seeds. And we leave them in the farms there for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And you know something? The man passing the pathway near the farm, knowing that this does not belong to me, will not take it. He will not touch it. He goes to his own farm, takes his own thing, comes back, and nobody else will steal from your farm, because we belong to a system that forbids stealing, taking what is not yours. It's a system. The African philosophy in itself believes in being productive, the dexterity of labor, the dignity of the human being. Our leaders, I don't know where they have grown from. I don't know if they missed out on this, because we have a set of people that are not driven by any ideology at all. That is even on the community side. The poor you will always have with you. That is a statement of fact. You are not supposed to abandon the poor, the weak, the vulnerable, and the needy in society. It is wrong. It goes against everything that makes us the people that we are in Africa. But we're having a people today that are driving an ideology. It's called capitalism. I'm not against capitalism as a person. All right? And I know very well that capitalist nations in the world do look after their weak and their needy in society. So I don't understand where this whole thing in Nigeria is coming from, that we will go tweaking policy after policy all the time to remove the succor that government and governance is supposed to play in the lives of the weak and the lives of the vulnerable in society. Today, we took out fuel subsidy 100%. I don't have a problem with taking out subsidy. I have a problem with removing subsidy without a corresponding succor, or they call it palliative. I don't want to use the word palliative. I don't believe in interventions. I believe in turning our national resources into seeds in the hands of people that will enable them make wealth as a solution. If you go out of the continent of Africa, I go to the UK a lot. The taxation regime in the UK is even higher than Nigeria. But the average British person can pay his taxes. What's the difference? Somebody looked after a framework that made it possible for him to make the wealth enough to be able to pay the taxes. That is what I'm talking about. So to remove that framework that enables us grow so that we can be able to fix the tax situation or the revenue situation in our country is my big problem with the current capitalism that is being practiced. And I seem to have the answer, because incidentally, I have grown up over these last 30 years having nothing to do with any government project. I've functioned purely on a private sector. I've not had one government project in the history of my 30 years of practice, and I've succeeded so far. I sit here representing one of the greatest and biggest architects on earth, Nigerian, in the practice of acoustics. Of course, you see my facility. I have not fallen, I have not failed. I've paid my taxes. So I know what to do. I just want to bring it. I want to scale it up to the national level.
That's good to know, Dr. AGADA. You see, I want to see whether we can find some kind of linkage between leadership and followership in this definition of ideological perspectives to governance.
Yes.
Is there also a challenge with followership?
Ideology and the dearth of ideology in Nigeria is a factor of the educational system that we've received. Nigeria abandoned the consistent growth in our cultural background, and we adopted 100% a Western educational system. An educational system that, to me, I think it was given to us to prepare us to continue to labor in the plantation, the white man's plantation. He has left this place, but he hasn't left this place per se. So we have an education that is tailored towards producing something for the capitalist economy that we find ourselves. So we are not trained, we don't have specific training that are targeted at helping us harness the resources of our land. Our trainings don't prepare us to be able to look after ourselves. Our trainings prepare us to be able to look after a plantation. I call it plantation. It's a system. That system looks after somebody's needs. The person is not even here, far away from here. So that educational system did not train us to have the rightful ideology. Nigerians are supposed to have come to that place now where people can differ in terms of, I think the strongest man or the wisest man should be the richest man. That is capitalism. Or I think that my intellectual property should earn me A, B, C, X, Y, Z based on the trainings. Or I believe government is the father of the nation and government should look after the social welfare of its citizens. That's another school of thought. That's the left. Okay, I'm talking in terms of ideologies now. That's the left. That's socialism or capitalism or some school of thought in the middle. No, I think government should allow some capitalism and some socialism. That is not the discussion on the table. We're talking PDP, APC today, and it's not about any of these three positions I'm telling you about. So it's the education. Our upbringing has totally destroyed the foundations, that great men like Obafemi Awolowo, the Ziks of Nigeria, the Amadu Bellos of Nigeria, they came based on ideologies. And that wasn't taken and fed into the educational system. In fact, I had the point that even history was struck out of our educational system. So today, we have a set of people without a foundation, philosophical foundation, moral values are not in place. The dignity of the human being has been punctured, has been destroyed. So we have a set of people who are blown by just any wind and don't have a direction. They don't have a direction in terms of ideology. So poor leadership, the leadership is a product of the followership. I've just connected it for you now. So we have a set of people, no ideology, and then this set of people produce a leadership, no ideology. That's what's happening in our country.
It's good to know. But your party is Young Progressives Party.
Yes.
Is relatively unknown. It's not as loud as, if I'm permitted to say that,
yeah,
as loud as PDP, APC, and the rest of them that are around. And you have stepping into that fray.
Yes.
Obviously, the concept.
The party YPP was registered, I think in 2016 or so, 2016, 2017. It's been in existence. It's not really that new. It's one of the middle-aged parties. It's not really, it's in the middle. It's not old, and it's not the newest of the new. So it's somewhere in the middle party. As a person, I operate with a very fearless mindset, knowing that whatever needs to be done. I just handled some very interesting projects, for example, that are unprecedented in the history of Black Africa. I just finished the project in Abuja here. It's a 100,000-seater auditorium, 44 meters high, 200 meters wide, 280 meters long. And I handled this project with about 700,000 tons of steel, close to 40-feet containers of one form of panels or the other, and lighting. In the history of the practice of architecture, acoustics, in the whole world, nobody has done that. I started as a no one. My company wasn't really that known internationally before this project. The man who was the client to this project took a big risk, though I have some track record, but nothing of this sort. I've never done anything of this sort. And we finished this project successfully. It's functioning. It is the largest auditorium in this world. It's the only hall in the world where you have 100,000-seater people sitting and there is air conditioning. It's roofed. It's not a stadium with the open air. The open air enables air to circulate. This is roofed. Why did I tell you this story? We are fearless. it's in the nature of Peter, AGADA, and his team to be fearless. We can take on the visibility project of the YPP. As we speak today, the YPP is now across the nation in all 36 states of federation. The YPP is in all 774 local governments of the federation. All of this because of efforts that I and the leadership of the YPP have put, and we are still moving at it. Statistics have it that over 20 million young people became the age of 18 and above from the last election to date, 22 million specifically speaking. Most of them are not card-carrying members of any political party. Yet, there is our party among young people about getting involved in politics. We're going after them. We're talking to them. We're trying to bring those people into the party. And the rapidity with which this is happening is unbelievable. As at the last count, I don't need to say this on air, we were well over 6 million. As at the last count, the number of hits on our website, the number of intending members, the number of joinings. So it's a Herculean task to be able to come out and be visible and as popular as PDP and APC and the rest of these parties. But we're not afraid of doing the work, and we're doing it. And besides, we have one thing working to our advantage. Technology. Is working to our advantage. Nigeria has well over 94 million persons that log into the internet every day. 94 million persons. Out of these 94 million persons, 45% of them are young people. More than conservatively, 45% of people are young people. You know, so we're talking about a 40 to 45 million young persons logging in every day. These persons before today have been cut off from mainstream true politicking, but they are presently being offered being part of a government. We're talking about the GPS government now, because the governance system we're bringing to place, or the model that we're presenting to them, is a government that does not exist without them. It is impossible to drive labor direct without the participation of the young persons across the nation. It will not work.
Is that what you are hinging?
Yes, that is it.
Your drive on?
Yes, that's what it is.
Labor
direct. Yes.
Okay. Can we build on that a bit?
Yes, labor direct is a GPS government.
What's GPS?
Nigeria is signed onto a global open governance system since 2022 thereabout. A lot of nations signed into that, but we have never really implemented open governance system in Nigeria to its fullest. What we've done is to put our ministries, departments, and agencies online. Okay, we have online MDAs, online ministry of that, online presidency. But the open governance system is not just about ministries, department, agencies of government being seen online. The open governance system is actually a totality, 100% of the operations of the government of a nation being put online, except a few areas. Security, you use military and security frequencies to make some part unaccessible. But everything running in Nigeria should be able to be seen online by everyone and from everywhere, Nigerians. And that's what I'm bringing to be. First thing is to digitize the entire 923,000 square kilometers of land called Nigeria. We'll name every plant. We'll name every grain of sand. Yes. Every plot of land. You know, one of the biggest reasons why we're poor in Nigeria? You have uncharted and undocumented land. The village where I come from, my father, being the first son of his family, my family is bequeathed a very large amount of land in my hometown. They do nothing with it right now. These lands don't have title, so you can't use it. It's not of any value. You can only plant and harvest. And if you're lucky, the land use decree doesn't put title on every land in Nigeria. Your title, this land are in your cities only. You don't have TDPs in the villages. TDPs are land that has beacons on them. And these beacons have numbers. And these numbers can be, you can be in the US and type these numbers in the GPS and you will see it. We don't have that. And that's one of the reasons why we have mass poverty in Africa. But we will digitize those land. Just like you have your PIN, personal identification number, all land in Nigeria will have a LIN, land identification numbers. It's a GPS governance system. Every project handled in Nigeria will be done by locals. Our first executive orders, for example, is to digitize the nation. I just told you about it. You digitize Nigeria, right? You turn Nigeria into a soft map. You turn Nigeria into a virtual Nigeria that you can see from any point in location. The second executive order is to blow a whistle where we call all the professionals in all the states, because we are aware by data that every state in Nigeria has that complete set of professionals that can develop the state. If you're from Bayelsa State, for example, you have architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, town planners, all the professionals needed to turn Bayelsa into another major industrial power are located in Bayelsa State.
Whether they are resident there or
Whether resident or not, but from Bayelsa State. Now, Nigeria has professionals from every state now, mostly registered with their various professional institutes. They have state chapters of the NIA, of the builders, and all of that. Now, the first thing we're doing is call a meeting of all of them. We give you your digitized state maps. Why do you need a digitized state map? You need investor to come into your place and to put down money for an agro-industrial cluster, for example. Your investor wants an equity from you. What are you bringing to the table to make me bring mine to the table? Well,
it's bankable.
Yes, the bankable documentation for land. Now, during the time of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, she declared that Nigeria's uncharted finances, or GDP, only in Lagos, lands and buildings done on lands without TDP, was totaling almost 13 trillion that time. Just imagine if those lands are given TDPs. You can imagine what that does to the value immediately. So we first of all digitize Nigeria, get the professionals, then do the next thing, blow another whistle and get the artisans. All artisans are assembled together. So a combination of professionals and artisans with various master plans being done by them based on the endowment in every state now. The guys in Zamfara, for example, will be dealing with solid mineral processing. Okay? The guys in Benue will be dealing with agro-industrial clusters. The guys in Bayelsa will be dealing with oil and gas base and energy processing system. All right? Done by these professionals in their state. Federal government only providing maybe sovereign guarantees, maybe some equity, maybe some seed, maybe some partnerships.
What becomes of existing institutions that perhaps have been set up to drive some of this inside? When you mentioned, and I remember SMEDAN, for instance,
yes,
small, medium scale enterprises, blah, blah, blah,
yes,
and all that.
Yes, you see, these institutions are operating below capacity right now, majority of them. I will mention some other ones for you. Public Complaints Commission, ICPC, EFCC, they're operating far below capacity. Let me tell you how ICPC, for example, comes to be, or Public Complaints Commission. Now, everyone is expected, every citizen, to download a Labor Direct app on his phone. Once I click Labor Direct on my phone, and I want to find out the position of, say, a borehole in my village, I click Benue, Ogbadibo, Otukpa, borehole 001, and then my ward name. Immediately, the information about the contractor who got the job, the level the job has been done up to, the payments that have been made will come. If it's going according to plan, I'll flag it good. But once my projects are not going to plan, I'll flag it bad. Once the algorithm gets bad from 10 persons about one particular project, ICPC, EFCC.
Say, wahala deal.
Imagine this being done for 774 local governments, 8,809 wards in the country. The ward indigenes themselves, monitoring their projects, being involved in the voting for their projects, monitoring the budget. You know that ICPC will need to do visa lottery to import people to come and help them work. Are you getting what I'm saying, sir? So our institutions will ramp up in their functionality. Most institutions right now are just working at bare capacity.